Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Advanced Programming with Java at Portland State University. There are a lot of people in this room. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, and so much so that I even put together like a special little presentation to start out with. Oops. Well, let's start with go to the first slide. Hey. Okay. So, we're going to cover tonight. I'll introduce myself, I'll introduce the graders, we'll do a little bit of who's who. First thing I want to address is the enrollment situation. You've probably been getting some emails from me, and those of you who have been checking out BandWeb know some stuff's been going on. And so while we're all here, I want to talk about, are you recording me? You know, it's fine. I'll put it up on YouTube, but it's kind of redundant, Chris, so if you want, I mean, your bandwidth or mine. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. I want to talk about the enrollment situation and sort of what happens as far as people's ability to be enrolled in the course. And then we'll dig into the normal stuff that we usually do in the first night. So we'll talk about the course itself, its syllabus, what we're going to cover, how grading works, you know, important things like that. And then we'll dive into some Java. We'll create our first Java project. We'll do a little bit of, well, you'll see a little bit of Java coding. Oops, who's yelling at me? I don't know. We'll also learn about what are called the Java Cones, which is a project that starts tonight and goes for a couple of weeks. And along the way, we'll see some stuff about test-driven development that we'll be applying throughout the course, starting tonight. So I'll be doing a little bit of TDD. It's going to be a long night. I hope everybody had a good dinner. I did, although they messed up my order at Hot Lips, and that's why I'm a couple minutes late. I apologize for that. Usually I like to start right on time, so it's been kind of a crazy day for me, and I think some of you have had a crazy day too. I know I had a couple of emails like, I'm stuck on the bus, I'm late for it. Yeah, these things happen. It's been an interesting, the last week has been a good reminder for me of the complexity of the world that we live in. But here we are tonight, so I'm looking forward to getting started, and we'll figure out what comes next. So, hi, I'm David Whitlock. I'll be your instructor for this term for Advanced Java Programming. During the day, I'm an Agile coach at a company called Tripwire. We're here downtown. We make cybersecurity software. I've been there for about 10 years. I started as a developer, and I've been doing more leadership work recently. As far as PSU, I've been teaching here since 2000. They hired me when I was 15. Yeah, no. Get used to the dad jokes. Those of you who laugh, stay in the course. No, that's not it. Okay. Ooh, that's gonna be here. It was really this course had a really interesting arc to it. So when I started teaching it, Java was still kind of the new and hot language. People were still sort of figuring out. The language itself was only about 4 or 5 years old. And it was the only Java course at Portland State. And since then, PSU has evolved, and so has the course. So after a couple of years, the enrollment spiked, kind of like it is now, because they started using Java in compilers, but they hadn't figured out that they should teach you Java before the compilers course. Actually, is the compilers course still a thing? Is that still required? No. No? Oh, wow. Gee whiz. Okay, cool. So I'm so glad you're here then. Of course, Java changed itself. So, you know, we went from writing thick native application, not native, desktop applications, to doing more stuff with the web. And really, as the course evolved and the students evolved, I realized that just teaching about Java, well, first of all, was getting kind of boring for me, but also it's not really what you guys need. You know, another thing that's influenced me at PSU is, in addition to my teaching, Tripwire is also part of a program called PSEP, which is an internship program that some of you might be familiar with. As a matter of fact, I recognize a number of you as people who are in the program. And so then I got to work with students at PSU, not only as my students, but also as my coworkers. And it really hit home something that I've been sensing for a while, which is, yes, it's important to know a programming language. It's important to know a programming platform like Java and its APIs. But there's more to it than that. And you know, Java's not going to be around forever. But what will be around for a lot longer is programming, and programming well. And so that's when I had that realization, I worked with the department, and we evolved the course to from being advanced Java programming to advanced programming in Java. I wanted to put the emphasis on the programming part. So what we'll see is, yes, we'll see the Java language, but what we'll also see in this course is how people write code in the year 2017. And that's where the test-driven development and a lot of the software craftsmanship, refactoring, stuff like that comes into the course. And so that's me. The course enrolls 60, and that entitles me to 2 graders. Yay, because I'm going to need a lot of help with all of your programming assignments, as you'll see in a while. And so I'd like to introduce the two graders, Unmesh and Shusham. Would you take a moment and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Unmesh. I'm a graduate student here. Joined PSU in 2016, and I just love Java. I've worked a lot on Java, and I would just love to create new projects.
He says that now.
Hi, I'm Susham. I've joined PSU in last spring. So I had a few hands-on experience with Java in my undergraduate course. So I did really love the Java, coding in Java. So looking forward to do some stuff on that.
Yeah, excellent. And so we were talking about it the other day, and we're really looking forward to working with you this summer. I see us as supporting you in your journey as you learn about some more advanced programming techniques and learning about Java and the Java programming language. So we're here to help. We'll talk more about how Unmesh, Shusham, and I can support you and how all of that will work. But here's who we are. So you'll be seeing them for the first couple of weeks here in class to help out and maybe help me out a little bit. But then towards the end of the term, they're, like I said, going to be busy grading your quizzes and projects and such. So here's who we are. Okay, so as I look out of this very full room with a lot of people, the course has turned out to be very popular. I'm really quite pleased and a little surprised, actually. And so I've never taught to 60 students before. Last year when I taught it, we had 50, and that was a lot. That was challenging, but we made it work. And so then this year the department challenged me and said, "Hey, can you do 60?" And I said, "Okay, it's probably too late to change it." So we enrolled 60, 30 undergraduates and 30 graduates, and there were still long wait lists. And it's actually, before I go on, I wanted to thank you for your interest. It means a lot to me that people want to take this course. I feel like I'm doing something right, and that's really cool. However, the 60 is all we can do. And so we had these big long wait lists, and then things got complicated, things got complex. So as it turns out, there was a scheduling error. If you looked on the original offering for the course, it was scheduled to go from like 5:30 until like 9:40 or something like that. And I'm an old man. I can talk for a long time, but that's too long. The department realized this mistake and corrected it. Unfortunately, the only way to change the time range of a course is to make a new course offering in Banner, in BandWeb, the system that PSU uses to manage its courses. Okay, and so then last week, kind of in a rush towards the end of the week, because everything has to be finalized by last Friday, because classes start this week, University Scheduling went and created a new course offering with a new CRN and everything like that. And the instructions that we had given them was to take everybody who's enrolled and enrolled in the course, everybody who was waitlisted, and put them on the wait list. Oops. Instead of doing that, they accidentally enrolled everybody in the course, everybody on the wait list and everybody who was already registered. And so, like Saturday morning, I wake up and I check Banner, and there are 94 students registered for the course. And I'm like, the fire marshal's not going to like that. And so I worked with the department yesterday and today to get all of that squared away. But what it means is the following. As I've explained to you in email, but I want to reiterate it here. Here's how we're going to handle this. I place high value for people that attend the course, people that are here. even though, yes, I record, our time in class and put it up on YouTube, and all the lectures are available on YouTube and everything like that, a lot of the things that we do require you to be here, and especially on the first day. And I guess I didn't want anybody who decided that they didn't want to be here to get rewarded by staying in the class. So I want to know who all of you are, and the way we're going to determine this is I brought some index cards. I'm going to have the graders in a little while after I'm done, done talking. Pass out the cards, and I'd like you to write your name legibly, please. Your name on the index card and the last 4 digits of your student ID. And actually, it would help if you said undergraduate or graduate, or 410 or 410 or 510 on it also. And this will sort of be your ticket of like, yes, I attended. So I'll collect all those. Actually, I'll have the graders collect all those. Isn't it great to have these guys like do stuff like pass out cards? I can just sit up here and talk. Anyway, I'll have them pick up all the cards, and then tonight I'll do the following. But my goal is to fill the class, and actually I checked with the department, and the room is only rated for 60, and so therefore, like, we can only have 60 people enrolled in the course. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So anyone who is registered who isn't here tonight, I'll request that they be dropped from the course. And so I've had a number of people who weren't able to make it tonight because of travel or last minute things. Email me so I know who to include. But anybody who's registered and didn't attend will be dropped. And then I'll refill the classes back up to 30 undergraduates, 30 graduates in wait list order. And the wait list is not necessarily what's on banner. Come to find out, the wait lists magically disappear on Friday night. Luckily, which is kind of weird, but okay. Luckily, the person I work with in the CS department had the forethought to, well, I should maybe just take an export of everything before the university scheduling makes all the changes. And so luckily, I do have the wait list as of June 22nd, and this is what I'll use to determine. I'll go in wait list order to determine who gets in the course. I hope you feel that's fair. There are constraints here, like on the room, on our ability to support, so many students. Any questions, though, about the approach? Yes?
Are you going to decide who gets in and not before the end of class, or are you going to wait until
No, I won't do it before the end of class. I will do it before. I'm going to try to get the list of the department before tomorrow at noon. So either late tonight or early tomorrow. What I will do is, if you are in, I will send you an email, and I'll send an email to everybody saying that I'm done. So if you didn't get the email from me, then you'll know. And then you can always just follow up. So if you really want to know, you can send me an email and I'll reply. But that's what I'll do. Yeah.
So you may not get in class, but you still have to attend the full first class?
Yeah. Well, attend the full. No, actually, you don't. As soon as you're done with your card, if you want to go someplace else, you can do that. Maybe Felicity's on tonight. I've used that Felicity joke for a long time. Anyway, yeah. So yes, if right, because I sent out the wait list as I see it, and so I think you guys know where you are on that, and so then based on the number of people here, make your judgment call. Right? We're all adults. You can vote with your feet. Okay. And you had a question?
What time does the class actually end?
What time does the class actually end? Pretty much when I pass out. Well, the department set some expectations, oh, if you want to go until 9:10, you can do so if you don't take a break. We're gonna take breaks. Realistically, tonight's gonna be long. Next week might be a little long, and that's until 9 or after that. The way the course is by weeks 4 or 5, when what we're doing is pair programming and mob programming and things like that, you guys basically determine when we're done. So when you have completed your code kata after we've talked about it, the class is essentially the class is over. And so then I think, as history shows, realistically, getting out of here at 8:30 or so is probably more along the lines. Yeah. So I don't have that many jokes, luckily, so we don't go that late. Okay. Anything else about sort of what happens next with enrollment? Okay. Good. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So you emailed us our position on the wait list? Okay. Because on the BAM web, I went way down on the wait list. I was like way.
Right.
So that's.
Well, and that was the weird thing. I've never been in this situation either. And so I was surprised, and I asked the department about it. So, right, if you look on BandWeb right now, there's it's called registration number, and that's bogus, and it has nothing to do with how you were waitlisted. So here again, I don't understand how this process works. Luckily, what I do have is this export from June 22nd or something, which is consistent with what I remember it being, and so that's what I sent out. So if you're waitlisted, yeah, ignore what's on Banner, look what's in the email. Yeah. So yeah.
So if we do get in a class, will you email us or will
Yes.
it happen automatically?
Well, I will inform you so that you know. I'll inform everybody to say, hey, if you haven't got an email, sorry. And then I will, and then of course, as soon as all that's final, I will also email the department to make sure that you're actually registered. Yep.
Is it possible to give a flash of the wait list right now? So
I sent out an email. Did you get the email this morning?
I haven't checked.
Pretty early, yeah. So yeah, I sent out the list there, and actually I don't have it in a way that I want to present here because it's got people's IDs on it and everything like that. But in the email, I just had the last 4 digits and then your first and last name. Okay. I guess one other thing. Back to the fact that the course is so popular. I only teach it the summer. That's when the only time I'm invited to teach. If there really is as much demand for the course, I'd be open to teaching it again at a different time. So please, if you have an opportunity to talk to the department chair or your other professors, if you want it offered more often, please lobby for it to be offered more often. Offered more often. Gosh. Okay. Okay. What's next on my slides? Oh, okay. Okay. So that's it about the situation. We're about to go on the syllabus, but anything else before we dive in? Okay. Okay. So enough of that nonsense. So this is the course's website, and this is where all of the information that I think you'll need to be successful in the course can be found. Oh, I guess I haven't updated to have both the graduate section. The graduate section is still new to me. We did it for the first time last year. And so then for you graduate students, most of the material is still geared towards CS410J. Like you'll see 410 more than you will 510. It's all the same course. Sorry, so actually one of the things we'll talk about is, well, exactly, it's all the same course. So everybody's, graded and has the same expectations of them. Basically what we're here to do is to learn about contemporary programming techniques and to learn about Java. There is a textbook for the course. It's a free book called Thinking in Java by Bruce Eckel. It's a little old, but still got good stuff. If you learn best by a book. However, if you prefer to watch videos, I've got my screencast. There's lots of good stuff out there. Also on on the internet in terms of videos, and of course there's tons and tons of tutorials. And there's also Stack Overflow, right? So it's there are lots of ways for you to answer sort of specific Java questions, but of course the graders and I can help you with that also. Okay. As some of you might have noticed, there are some resources for getting started in the course. A quick poll: who here has programmed in Java before? Oh, good, everybody. Okay, and then let's see here. Just shout out. So, did they still cover it in like the 200 series? You get like a week at the end of 202 or something like that. Okay, good deal. Beyond sort of the lower division courses, where else have you used Java and what have you used it for? Compilers. Okay, so you've taken the compilers course. Good for you.
350.
What is 350? Algorithm. Oh, algorithms in Java. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, implement your own B tree, just like the one in Java. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, it's a red-black tree in Java. AI? Yeah, nice. Yeah. Oh, open source class, nice.
I did do 320 principles of programming language.
Oh, programming language stuff, cool. So did you talk about the language itself, or did you like implement like little toy compilers? What did you do with it in the
different concepts?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Learning about like object-oriented programming and everything.
Java.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad they're introducing it in the curriculum. So so then I hope you have sort of at least a working knowledge of the language syntax and concepts like object-oriented programming methods and you know, overriding inheritance, all that good stuff. If you want a refresher, I don't have screencasts for them, but I do have some old podcasts. Voice is still as nasally from several years ago. Giving you an introduction to the programming, the language itself, and also object-oriented programming. So if you wanted to brush up on things, you know, you can thumb through the slides, and then you can also listen to those podcasts. You probably want to dive right into Project 1, but there's also a Project 0, which actually I'll walk through as part of demonstrating to you how to work with some of the Java tools. But you're also welcome to do that on your own, although it's not required to submit. Finally, as a prerequisite, in the year 2017, you use tools to help you write your code. You know, gone are the days where you know, real men and women use VI. It's okay to use an IDE, especially in this course. And the one that I recommend is IntelliJ IDEA. It's what I use. It's what I'll show you in the course. There's a free community edition, which I think gives you everything you need. But you can also get the their premium edition, their usually for pay edition, for free as a student. And so then I think I sent out some links on the Google Plus community of how to get started on that. Or if I haven't, post something on there and I will. Okay, so that's stuff that you could do to help prepare. Today, so the way the class is laid out is the following. For a number of years, I taught this course like the courses that I took as a college student, where, like, you know, the professor is up there and he's got slides and he sits there and, you know, in his tweed jacket with the elbow patches and tells you things and writes in bad handwriting on an overhead projector or on a chalkboard or something like that. And so, you know, I gave like all these lectures, and so I'd be up there and tell the same jokes every year and all that stuff. And I realized after doing that for like 10 years, like, wow, I'm getting bored of this. And if I'm getting bored of this, I can't imagine what it's like for you guys. So I said, you know, I want to do something different with the course. And so I inverted it. So I went and I've recorded all of the lecture material, which is me talking to the slides. All of that is up on YouTube. And so then if you're, you know, someone who like works well or learns well by watching screencasts and videos, don't worry, my picture's not up there, so it's not like, you know, you don't see me waving my hands, gesticulating like I do. But it's basically me, you know, talking to and providing more detail on the slides. That's sort of the primary resource for learning about for the content of the course, sort of the technical aspects. You know, so I'm not going to lecture you on what JUnit is. I expect that before class you'll watch the screencast, you'll go through the slides, and come prepared to participate in class and also ask questions. So if there's something, you know, if you're watching the screencast and you have a question, you know. Please feel free to ask in the moment. So you can, you know, post to the Google group. You can also post a comment on YouTube. There's, you know, lots of ways to get your question out there. I'll see all of those, or, you know, write it down, bring it to class, and we can talk about it. And so then there are a couple of screencasts that I recommend that you I ask that you review to get started for this first amount of work. So there's one of, I recently updated to sort of getting started with Java. It talks about the tool set you need. Actually, I'll go through some of the stuff that we see tonight also. And I do have a set of slides on just sort of a review of the Java programming language that aren't as in-depth as these ones up there, but it's probably a good place to get started if it's been a little while. And then please go off and watch the unit testing screencast. That I think introduces some concepts that you'll see a lot in the course, especially as we do test-driven development. It'll help give you good context for what I'm showing you. And then also there's a tool called Maven, which is used to build Java projects, especially more complex Java projects. And while the first couple assignments are pretty straightforward, by the time we get to the end, Maven will provide you with a lot of build process, a lot of functionality that will make your life easier. Okay, so basically before each class, please watch the screencast, come prepared to discuss them, participate in the conversation, and participate in what we do in class. Okay, the syllabus. I teach a course in college, so I have to have a syllabus. My one-liner for the goal of this course is to learn about the Java programming platform and actually learn about modern software development, not modern, contemporary software development, and to have fun doing it. For me, this is my chosen profession. This is what I do during my waking hours. I enjoy it, and I know it can be enjoyable, and I hope that I can make it fun for you and what you find to be enjoying and fulfilling in software development. So how are we going to do this? I already talked about the screencast, the online lectures. In class, even though there are a lot of us, I want to have good discussions about what you're seeing in your work outside class, whether it's working on your projects, things that you've read about, questions that you have. Maybe if you're using Java in another class, or there's something that you're learning about here that you want to tie back to something else. Those are the kinds of things that I want to make sure that we can engender, that kind of learning. This isn't one way. I'd like it to be two-way. I'd like it to be a discussion. Like I say, I already know this stuff. And so as much as I like to hear myself talk, I don't need to hear myself talk. I can just go watch the YouTube videos, which would be a little creepy, I think. But anyway, okay, and so in-class discussion. And also pair work. So when I said I inverted the course, so instead of me lecturing for like 3 hours on every Wednesday night, I do a little bit of that. Actually, it's not so much lecturing as it is, I think it is demonstration. So you'll see me code a lot. And so you'll see me use the tool, use the language, use the API. I don't know how to teach it any other way, right? I mean, I teach by doing. And so then some of the class will be that, me demonstrating, here's what I know, and here's how I solve problems. And then, especially as the course goes on, you'll be working with each other to teach each other, to collaborate, to pair up, maybe do some mob programming, to solve little problems, the so-called code katas, and we'll get to that next week. So that's what we do in class now. You'll also see a lot of code in this course. Again, yeah, you can read a book about the Java language syntax. Yeah, you can read a book about refactoring. But until you actually do it and see sort of the before and after, I don't find, maybe this is just my learning style, I don't find that that's as effective as actually seeing code, understanding it, working with somebody else's code, making changes, and augmenting someone else's code. There's a 5-phase project in the course. It comes in 5 parts, and the first one is assigned tonight. And in each phase, you build upon the previous phases. And so then this is an opportunity for you to experience what it's like to evolve a code base as more requirements are requested of it. And we'll be going everything from a very simple command line program all the way to a rich internet application with a rich user experience in the user interface. And there are also quizzes and exams. So every week there is a quiz. It's administered on D2L, and there will be a final exam. We'll talk more about that at the end of the course. I think we will see the percentages of all that stuff. So that's what we're going to do generally in the course. I'll walk through the. Actually, to go to the topics, it's probably easiest to go to the page. So tonight, overview. We'll get started with a project. See a little bit of code. Watch a video on test-driven development. I guess one more thing. Jim Shore, who's right here in Portland, has a really nice set of screencasts that teach you about test-driven development. For those of you who are excited by TDD or maybe have heard about it and sort of want to see what it looks like professionally, I highly recommend these. And so then it's kind of a nice, each one is like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. So during the week, sort of check in maybe one every other night or something, or binge watch Jim Shore, yeah, or don't. His screencast on that. It's a really good way, here again, to learn by seeing and observing. So as we go through the course, the screencast will introduce you to more of the language and the APIs, and how to do everything from file I/O to some common data structures, manipulating dates, all sorts of stuff that eventually you'll use in your project as it evolves. And so we'll cover the core language APIs for Java. Then we'll move on to things like functional programming in Java 8. So the most recent version of the Java language introduced a what's called Lambda syntax that allows you to do functional programming. Do you guys know what I mean when I say functional programming? So instead of like object, where everything's an object, you have these things called functions, which are basically stateless, just pieces of behavior. And so it enables a style of programming that makes some things easier to express, and then also can enable scalability in your software because you can have multiple threads running at the same time and reduce the number of times that thread has to wait for another thread to do the work. Concurrency, all that good stuff. We'll also, by week 3, I'll do a little bit less talking, and we'll start doing more talking as we work in what's called a coding dojo. So we'll be working together to develop software. And then by week 4, we'll be moving out of the command line world and into the world of the web by introducing REST, representational state transfer, as a way of writing client-server applications. So you've got a little Java program that's talking to a web server by making HTTP requests. And so we'll be learning all about that. And towards the end of the course, we go from just a HTTP-based API to a rich internet application using something called Google Web Toolkit. And so this is a web application framework that Google put together that leverages the Java language heavily and lets you write really nice rich internet applications using almost exclusively Java language syntax. Yeah.
So for the Intelligent Community Edition, I know it has some of the web stuff not available. Will we need to be getting the Ultimate Edition to do that?
That's a good question. I don't know if the community has everything that we'll need.
Ultimate is WebStorm. I think that's what you're.
Oh, WebStorm?
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, WebStorm's like PHP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you need. Yeah. So no. You won't be doing any JavaScript. We'll be doing really any HTML. It'll be very basic stuff. So Community Edition will probably be fine. But here again, as a student, you're entitled to free like for a year or something like that of all of the JetBrains products or many of the JetBrains products. Yeah.
We're using Java EE. That's what.
So are we using Java EE, the enterprise Java? Well. We use a little bit of it. We use like the web part of it and the servlets part of it. So a little bit of Java EE. But no, the course doesn't cover topics around working with databases or like technologies like I was gonna say Java server faces. All this stuff seems so old to me now. But no, so like the Java web frameworks, no. We use GWT because it's much richer than what you get out of like a JSP or a JSF or something like that. And nor do we really do stuff with like enterprise Java beans or anything like that, message passing. I'd hope that the course prepares you to go on to that stuff, but those aren't topics that we cover here. Okay. And then there are a couple screencasts at the end about the dependency injection design pattern. These are kind of bonus things. They're not like required or part of your assignments or whatever. There might be a quiz on them though. Can't remember now. But But by this time, I hope that you're ready for like more advanced programming patterns like dependency injection, and then some advanced concepts in GWT that you may choose to apply to your projects. And then that's it. In August, we'll be done with the course, and we'll have the final exam. It's during class time, and that's when basically all your work is due, your project's due, and along the way you have quizzes every week. Yeah.
D2L isn't showing up for the quizzes.
The quizzes. So tell me what, like when you click on one of those links.
I don't have any D2L for this class.
Oh, interesting. It wouldn't surprise me that D2L hasn't been synced up with the stuff, and so then would you please send me an email, and what I'll do is I'll follow up with the department to get that, and I will, if there's continued kerfuffleness, I will make sure that everybody has enough time to do the quizzes, but thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I think I also need to get the graders in D2L also. Okay, so that's the course content. Thank you for asking about J2EE. Are there any other questions about the content that we'll be covering or sort of the methodology of the course? Yeah?
Will the final be on D2L as well?
The final will not be in D2L. I had to get everybody here on the last day. No? Yes?
Sorry, did you say there was a midterm? Or?
There's not. No, there's not a midterm exam. There's only one exam. That's the final exam. There's the midterm survey, which is you've done enough. Tell me what you think. So I appreciate the feedback, and as a matter of fact, if you want to see what other students have said over the years, I have I solicit feedback at the end of the year and post it all here. Maybe some of you use that to determine whether or not you want to take the course. I hope did Gene make it? He was stuck on a bus. What? Oh, good! Yay! Welcome. Glad you made it. Yep. So sorry, where was I? What was I talking about? I can rewind the video and watch it later, I guess. Okay, awesome.
About surveys.
Oh, the surveys, right. So I welcome your feedback. I appreciate it. So let me know how I'm doing. I can't always like adjust something in the middle, but certainly, I hope they offer this course again. And so the feedback that you give me, I have integrated a lot of it over the years into the course to make it better and more appropriate for you guys. Okay. Talking for like 45 minutes. Okay. Grading policies. Okay. So in terms of how your grade's computed, the project, so the multi-phase project and also the Java cones, that's 60% of your grade. This is advanced programming in Java. It is not advanced reading and doing proofs and writing, writing exams and stuff. So the vast majority of your grade is the work that is the code that you write. There are 8 quizzes throughout the term, and I dropped the lowest grade in case someone's having a bad hair day or whatever, or just whatever. Each one of those is worth 4%, and so that's a total of 28 there. Thanks, Amanda. Actually, I'll turn it off once I'm off screen. And then the final exam is worth 12%. So the final exam is basically worth 3 quizzes. I, as a student, always thought it was a mean trick to have, half your grade or even like 30% of your grade determined by your performance in 2 hours, after dead week and on the same week that you've got like 4 other exams to study for. I always thought that was kind of cruel. I don't understand what that does or what it is. So instead of like giving like a really important exam at the end, I give you a project each week, and so every week you've got to demonstrate that. So I'm not that nice, but the final exam, is basically like either you know or you don't, and it's worth 12%, and that should add up to 100. Yes. Other sort of grading policies. So the projects are due right before class, essentially. So it's 6 p.m. on Wednesdays because I want you in class. I don't want you, trying to bang out your code at the last minute. So if it's 5 o'clock and your project still isn't working, you're not ready to submit it yet, put it down for a little while. Come to class. Let the back of your mind work through the issues that you were having. You'll have you get 2 late days. Basically, you get to do that twice during the term. So you can use your late days like that. I also allow you to resubmit one project for regrading, as long as you do it within a week of when you received your grade. This way, if there's something that you didn't understand about the assignment, or you got your command line parsing wrong, I don't, I want you to fix it. I want you to get the code to work, but I want you to get the code to work in a timely fashion, and so then you can resubmit it within a week of when you receive your first grade. Otherwise, my policy is that I'm not going to accept late work. I don't want, and people try to do this in the past, I don't want all 5 projects coming in on the last day. It's too much to grade. It's obviously demonstrating to me that you weren't keeping up with the work. That's sort of one of the meta lessons of this course. Is that there's a consistent workload and something that you need to keep up with. On paper, I grade on a curve. In reality, there's not much of a curve. Hey, this might be the year where there's a lot of diversity in the grades, and there's a curve. Nope. But usually not. So if you're going along the course, it's like, okay, great, I've got an 80%, and in this other course that was an A. Well, that's probably not going to be an A in this course. So like I said, you've got lots of opportunities to contribute to your grade. But please keep up the work. And it's also possible, this has happened a couple of times, that the way that the curve works out, if you're in one of those, the cutoff or whatever it is, like if a B plus is a 88 or something like that, sometimes 89 is a B plus instead of an A and things like that. So the curve may result in grades that are lower than the usual grading scheme. It's happened a couple of times. I'm just going to give you a warning now. So like I said, there's a graduate section of the course, and I'm happy to teach you, but it's the same course. So all the products are going to be the same. All of the grading policies are going to be the same. However, each section will be graded on its own curve. So if you're a graduate student, your grade is going to be evaluated against other graduate students. If you're an undergraduate, it's against the undergraduates. That's who you'll be graded and evaluated against. Any questions on the grading policy? No? Okay. I feel like a lawyer when I have to say this, but do not cheat. Duh, right? I use this tool called Moss, which will compare your submission to other people's submissions and submissions of people in the past and everything like that. And so, well, that if you copy somebody else's code, which is how I define cheating, and copy word for word and stuff. I mean, it's smart enough to know when someone has just developed code that looks very similar versus copying. Lawyers make me say, I'll be really mean and give you enough in the course and things like that. This hasn't been a problem in the past. You guys are, mature enough. You've been doing this for a long time that you know where the line is. But just in case, I don't want anybody saying, well, you never told me I couldn't cheat, so I have to tell you not to cheat. That being said, I want this to be a collaborative effort, and we're doing things like pair programming. Now, the stuff that you're doing in pair programming is not what you're graded on. Ultimately, I don't know how to fairly evaluate people, because I remember what it's like to be a student and put on a group project with maybe someone that you didn't choose to be on the on the group with, and how much it sucked when it's like you're the person pulling the weight, but everybody's the same grade. That's not this course. I don't know how to make that fair. So you definitely do group work in this course. But it doesn't necessarily affect your grade. Actually, it doesn't affect your grade. And outside of the course, I would encourage you to work with your fellow students and your peers. And so talk all you want and draw pictures on the whiteboard, maybe sketch out a little bit of pseudocode and things like that. But try not to look at someone else's code. Or if you do, quickly forget it. Maybe help somebody debug it, and then it's like erase that from the mind. Do a little shine the light in your face with the movie with Will Smith, wasn't it?
Men in Black.
Thank you, Men in Black. Okay. Right, don't cheat. Oh my gosh, there's still more to the syllabus, and I'm sure you've all read it on your laptops already. But I like talking. Lecture notes, as I said, available on the website. It goes without saying, but please don't wait until the last minute to start the projects. They might seem easy when you read over them, but experience shows that it's the kind of thing that you get started early, you sort of figure out, get through the first couple of hurdles and some of the bumps. You'll do much better than waiting until like Monday night to start a project that's due on Wednesday. Code documentation. In the real world, there's kind of a debate about the value of comments, and that's true for professional programmers, especially ones that have sort of learned how to have effective variable names and effective field names, class names, method names, stuff like that. And here, part of learning is being able to express that you want to do. So one of the things, as we'll see later on, that I require you to do is to document your code. And I recommend that you document your code as you write it. So you're about to write a method, and between choosing good method names, have a little comment block before it that says what that method is going to do. If you can say it in English, you can say it in Java. Please ask the questions that you have. I know it's not always easy, especially in a big classroom. And yep, these are your peers, and I realize there's some amount of competition and things like that. But I don't know, I guess what I've learned over the years is that you ask your question and you get it answered. Yay, you've overcome your hurdle. And there's no shame in that. And guess what? You now know something. And so you solved your own problem. And same thing with asking for help. So please don't waste your time being stuck for something for hours and hours or days and days at a time. Raise your hand. Send a put a post on the Google community. Most likely, if you're facing a challenge, you might not be the only one. Things have been known to break. Like I've messed things up in the projects, and things don't work. So please speak up when you have when you are blocked and when you're encountering something. It's a senior level course, as I said. There's a lot of work in here. And so then if you are taking lots of other classes this summer with a heavy workload, you might want to reevaluate your schedule. And I provide these code examples for you. So go home, play with them. I'll show you how to. Well, you can get them on GitHub. You can modify them, figure out how to use them on your own. I provide them for you. My office hours. I work downtown, but I don't live downtown, and so then I don't have office hours in my little cave that they give me in the computer science department. Actually, it's a fine little room. Instead, come join me for dinner. So my office hours are the hour before class at Hot Lips Pizza. So I'll be there the hour before class. As far as communicating with me, the best way is to use the Google Plus community or just regular Google Plus. I know it's Google Plus, but I don't want to be on Facebook. So and email isn't as effective. So please post something there when you've got a question that's appropriate for the entire class. If you've got something it's like, hey, I got to miss class, or hey, you're concerned about your grade, of course, email me one-on-one. I'm also open to video chat office hours on Google Hangout. I've done that, a number of times, and so if you're stuck or if you're having problems getting your environment set up, hey, it's the year 2017, we can do that now. And I'm david.m.whitlock, so my Gmail is at Gmail, etc., etc. And here's a link to the community. I noticed a number of you have already signed up. Thank you very much. You can also email me at my PSU address. There's the webpage. Oh, and one more thing. So the first thing that the first Java program that I want you to run, or one of the first Java programs, is this little survey program. So please log on to the CS department's Linux machines and run that command right there. And what that'll do? Oh yeah, my daughter has a birthday party tomorrow. Thanks, Google. I like tabs. Please run this survey program. What that will do is generate a little XML file and email it to the grader account. And this is how I keep track of your grades. So I don't track your grades on D2L. It's really slow to use. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that in order to scale the course, I have to automate a lot of things. So all your projects are automated, and a lot of the grading entry is automated because I want to pay these guys to do valuable work. Like, I don't pay these guys; the department pays these. You pay these guys, but anyway. I want the graders and myself focused in on providing you valuable feedback, not on entering a bunch of numbers into a hard-to-use website. And so then, but to kick all this off, you need to run the survey program to give me that information. There's a lot in the syllabus. So, any questions about that? Yes?
We also submit the survey for Java codes.
The survey is just once. You do the survey once, and that's what kicks off the grade. That gives me the ability to assign you a grade to something. So you only do that once. There is a survey program, which we'll talk about next week, because there is a submit program. We'll talk about it next week. Just isn't time tonight. Which is how you submit your assignments. Thank you.
So that says submitting any projects, but it's really the first project. That's what you're saying.
Sorry, where were you?
Take the survey before submitting any project.
Oh, that's yeah. So but you're first. You're right. It should be your first project. Oh, thank you. English major in your previous life? No. I don't think English majors actually use grammar, do they? It's probably all like Chaucer or crap like that. Okay. Your mother's an English teacher, right? Sorry. That's it. Okay. It's all how you say it. Yes.
That's supposed to be live now because it comes up with an error if you try to do that.
What? Try to do what? Oh, post it to the community.
It says it can't find the class.
Is it all busted? I knew I should have tried it beforehand. See, and if everybody just been anyway, I take responsibility for that. I'll get it fixed. So yeah, can you please post to the community about that, and I'll get that working. That's messed up, or maybe not. Oh, I know why it might not be working. Okay. Anyway, and we're just beginning tonight. Okay, let's. I'm going to pass out the cards now because guys, could you come up and here? I'll open up the cards. So this will be our first break. Let's take, I'll give the, let's pass out the cards. Please write your name and the last 4 digits of your student ID, plus whether or not you want to be or are enrolled in CS410J or CS510J. And Office Depot really does a good job of protecting their index cards. There you go. I just tore one off. And let's reconvene in 12 minutes. So 6:45. There's one bunch, and that could be enough for it. Divide that in 2. That's for 100. That's probably good enough.